over their proposal to increase the allowances of members of parliament, saying it is an unsustainable burden on the Ugandan taxpayer. The tabled proposal suggests that MPs' vehicle allowance be raised from 103 million Uganda shillings to 130 million Uganda shillings and 280 billion for building new chambers for the MPs of the 10th Parliament.
Before the 10th Parliament starts its official duties, Transparency International Uganda has expressed its major concerns about the tabled proposals by the Parliamentary Commission for an increment for members of Parliament's allowances, which include 2 million shillings for lunch and tea, 3 million for housing per month for each member of Parliament.
First time, whenever you get a new Parliament, they continuously want to increase their enrollments. But what is very annoying is the fact that the levels and standard of living of the Ugandans, ordinary Ugandans, that the levels are still very, very low. Our GDP is still very low compared to our neighboring countries. So any proposal that comes out from members of Parliament to increase their enrollment is actually an insult to Ugandans, because we need to appreciate the fact that our health sector, education sector is still, all those sectors are still very, very poor. So any government that is actually for people should actually, instead of giving a few individuals money, but should instead invest more in these sectors. It actually shows that you have a group of members of Parliament that are actually a liability and not an asset, because you cannot actually sustain such a huge Parliament, and in addition to that, you have people that continuously want their monies to be increased. I think this is daylight robbery of Ugandans by members of Parliament who continuously want their monies to be increased, and yet the standard and cost of living for ordinary Ugandans is still very, very low.
Additionally, each member of Parliament is entitled an official car which costs over 103 million Uganda shillings, each 30% of their pay as monthly gratitude, an iPad, seating allowances for committee and plenary, per diems for inland and abroad travels.
At the moment this will start, we're going to be spending over 1.1 billion. Now, we know how much these monies can be used for. We're going to improve the health sector, we're going to improve the education sector. Of course, right now you can't talk of saving unless the Parliament has actually been reduced. And that's why we are saying that we may not mind giving these members of Parliament huge sums of money, but if you have a decent number, but the number that you have currently is an obscene number, which as a country we cannot actually maintain and we cannot sustain.
However, currently MPs bag 458 billion shillings, meaning that Ugandan taxpayers will have to pay 11.4 billion monthly as pay and allowances for MPs, where 47.1 billion is to finance new vehicles for MPs and 1.5 billion for new iPads.
Parliament is to drop that idea, because it's an insult to Ugandans. How much are they getting? How much are other people getting? Look at our GDP per capita, look at our GDP, and look at how much other countries are getting. Look at the members of Parliament that we have in Tanzania and in Kenya. Most of these guys actually have lower members of Parliament, and it is quite interesting that their GDP is higher than ours. Now, their GDP is higher, and yet they have very few members of Parliament. Now, accordingly, right now what we're doing is that you need to cut your cloth based on what you have. Here we are chewing more than we have, because we don't have money to sustain. So we're calling upon the respective committees of Parliament to abandon this idea and instead divert that money to productive sectors that are going to help the ordinary Ugandan, but not only to enrich a few members. Otherwise, Parliament is going to become a marketplace. Otherwise, we're going to have members of Parliament that are just looking at Parliament as a source of income to continuously exploit the ordinary Ugandans.
Meaning that over 59.1 billion will be spent on MPs in the first month of the 10th Parliament. Therefore, the Parliamentary Commission and its committee have been urged to drop such ideas, because they have to also take care of the other Ugandans. Now, Karafiana for Good News.
With me is the press statement from Transparency International, and of course I need to give you more insight into what exactly they mean. And according to their statement, they say it is ironical and hard to imagine that MPs can increase their salaries with ease as other public servants like teachers and doctors continue earning dismally. In essence, 59.1 billion Uganda shillings can pay 1,104 doctors for a whole year, each earning 1.2 million. This money can also pay 17,943 primary school teachers for an entire year. This money can also extend medicines to hospitals, build better health facilities, and improve teachers' welfare, among other things. And they went on ahead to compare Uganda's economy to East African countries like Kenya, Tanzania, and of course way down in South Africa. And Sese Kagaba wound up by saying, we urge the Parliamentary Commission and the Parliamentary Committee on Legal and Parliamentary Affairs to immediately drop the proposed allowances. We propose that all the necessary amendments be done and MPs' emoluments be determined by the Salaries and Remunerations Board. Well, there you have it, loud and clear. But moving on, Uganda's economy is moving at a moderate pace, which, according to a monetary policy statement released by the Bank of Uganda, calls for re-energized efforts in exports so as to strengthen the foreign exchange rate. The statement also indicates an inflation decline from 7.6% in December 2015 to 6.9%. Abdulatif Mukasa has the story.
The Central Bank of Uganda has today released a report indicating the inflation rate within the country at the moment. According to the report read by the Governor of Bank of Uganda, Emmanuel Tumutemire Musime, it indicates that the annual headline core inflation declined to 6.2% as per the month of March 2016. However, there are a number of factors that has led to the reduction of the inflation rate within the country, and among these include the drop down of food prices.
Annual headline and core inflation declined to 6.2% and 6.9% respectively in March 2016, after peaking at 8.5% and 7.6% in December 2015.
The governor further says that the economy is also growing at a moderate pace if compared to the previous years. He adds that the first quarter of 2016 is lower compared to that of 2015. However, there is need to focus much on the other indicators that do boost the economy.
The economy has continued to grow at a moderate pace. The high frequency indicators of economic activity suggest that economic activity was lower in the first quarter of 2016 compared to the last quarter of 2015.
With the production, the value still declined, and therefore it has an impact on the exports. And the exports, for example, in coffee alone declined by around 6.7%.
There is also need to strengthen other factors that do favor the growth of the economy, and these include the improvement on the amount of exports compared to the imports. According to the current standing, they are both moving at a relatively similar level, but this calls for further involvement in the economic activities, especially the agro products, so that a lot is exported to the neighboring countries.
For example, we are talking about if our exports remain subdued, but imports recover, then you have an impact on the exchange rate. On the other hand, there are another angle for the exchange rate comes through the financial side, because as the differences in monetary policies globally, they will start impacting also in on some of the inflows. It is then that's when the exchange rate becomes the relevant value. But for now, since imports also have declined and the exports have declined equally, overall we can say that, well, the impact has been is basically not there.
Abdulatif Mukasa, Record TV, Kampala.
Now, despite the fact that FDC presidential candidate Dr. Kizza Besigye was granted his freedom at his home last week, FDC's President Major General Mugisha Muntu has said that they will continue with their pursuit for change and at the Free My Vote campaign. Muntu was addressing the press at the party headquarters in Najjanankumbi, and Prosech Sache has more on the story.
The Forum for Democratic Change Party will not let go of the issue on the outcomes of the just concluded elections, where they allege that their presidential candidate, Dr. Kizza Besigye, emerged the winner, though the Electoral Commission deliberately refused to declare him and instead proclaimed Yoweri Kaguta Museveni as the winner. While addressing the press at the party's headquarters in Najjanankumbi, the President General of FDC, Major General Mugisha Muntu, said that even though the Supreme Court failed to provide justice into the matter, they will not back off.
And where the court should be the temple of justice, in which a citizen might turn to for protection, and where the powerful bow before the law. Increasingly, the court's doors are shut and its voice is muffled. Consequently, those with power can act with impunity, assured in the knowledge that they stand above the law. Thus, an honest citizen has nowhere in the land to turn to find justice. The illegal arrest of Dr. Kizza Besigye and his subsequent house arrest in violation of the Constitution stand as a prime example of impunity and illegality, plus many who are under incarceration. Throughout this sad episode, now spanning just under 40 days and with no end in sight, the judiciary failed to intervene to uphold the law and protect Dr. Kizza Besigye's rights. Instead, they have opted to use technical delays to avoid making an order for Dr. Besigye's release. It is for these reasons that FDC is of the view that it is better to have an internationally backed independent election audit. The audit would be an independent inquiry into the process and event of the 2016 presidential election to 1. Assess whether the election measured up the constitutionally mandated standards for elections, and 2. Determine the veracity of the Electoral Commission's declaration of candidate Yoweri Museveni as a duly elected president. 3. To the extent possible, declare the true winner of the 2016 presidential election.
He insisted that there should be an international-backed independent audit to study the outcomes of the general elections and produce a fair judgment.
It is an emerging international best practice that has been used to verify election results or resolve disputed elections in a number of countries. In the last 10 years, independent election audits have been held after disputed elections in Afghanistan 2009 and 2014, Haiti 2010, Kosovo 2009 and 2010. What's the legal basis for an independent election audit? The legal basis for an independent audit of the 2016 presidential election lies in Articles 1 and 3 of the Constitution. Article 1 of the Constitution provides that all power belongs to the people who shall exercise their sovereignty in accordance with this Constitution. Article 1(2) elaborates on this matter further when it provides that without limiting the effect of Clause 1 of this article, all authority in the state emanates from the people of Uganda. And the people shall be governed through their will and consent. Finally, Article 1(4) elaborates on the question of how the people who are the true sovereign and owners of all power in Uganda.
This report was compiled by Pressy Chisache for Record News.